Cultivated mainly for its fruits, okra is a vegetable much used in cooking in Africa and elsewhere in the world. Okra is planted by direct seeding, but when too many seeds are put into a seed hole, or when the plants are too close together, okra does not grow well. The plants become fragile and do not give much fruit at harvest. In this video, producers in Benin will show us how to plant okra properly. Proper planting of okra in the fields must begin with quality seeds. Although you can buy improved seeds, you can also collect seeds from local varieties. Before the first fruits appear, observe your okra crop well to select the plants with big and strong stalks. Do not harvest the fruits of these plants because they will give you the seeds for the next crop. Before the ripe fruits fall by themselves, harvest the seeds of the largest fruits. Ripe fruits are brown and they tend to crack or split when they are dry. Use a clean knife or any other sharp object to carefully open the fruits and collect the biggest, undamaged and unblemished seeds. Dry them in the shade for 3 days on a clean drying surface. After drying, store the seeds in a glass, plastic or aluminium jar with a screw-on lid. The jar should be air and moisture tight. Since exposure to sunlight reduces seed life, it is best to use a dark jar or a non-transparent container to store the seeds. Well-preserved seeds can be used for at least 1 year and sometimes up to 2 years. Okra grows in all types of soil. If you grow it on soils rich in organic matter, sandy or well-drained soil, you will get good results, even without using fertilizers. Plant your garden in the sun because okra likes heat. It grows better and gives more fruit in the sun than under shade. Weed your field and get rid of dead roots on top of the ground or underground, as the roots sometimes harbor nematodes and other pests that can contaminate and damage the plants. Turn the soil over deep to get a better result. While you harvest 3 baskets where the soil is not tilled, you will harvest 10 where it is turned over. Leave the cut grass on the surface of the soil to cover the soil, even after tilling. Plant mulch helps to protect crops and to keep the soil moist. When we clear the cut grass and we sow, the sun hits the soil and it becomes dry. With time, crops burn and they stop producing fruit. When the soil retains moisture, the microorganisms that live in the soil do not die and they feed the crops so that they develop. Okra is often grown in open fields or on beds. Grow it in an open field if you are in clay soil or in a low wetland, and on beds if your soil is sandy or loose. If it is a sandy or loose soil, lay out and measure the beds after tilling the soil. Since spacing between plants allows okra to grow better, level the beds now and measure the spacing between seed rows. Ideally, between 2 okra plants, you can keep at least 40 centimeters and 80 centimeters between the rows. Rogatien uses a cord to draw the length of the beds. He uses a 1.2 meter long tube to measure the width of the bed. With a carved piece of iron, he draws 2 lines for sowing. The right spacing lets in the air and lets the plants to develop well. When the plants grow well, they give lots of fruits and generate lots of revenue. But when the plants are too close together, they do not grow well. Leave a distance of about 20 centimeters between each row and the edge of the bed and 40 centimeters between 2 planting beds. As the plants develop, the okra leaves become wider and they close the pathways we use for watering. And then we start walking in the middle of the beds, which get compacted. This is not good. In the lowlands of Ueme Valley, a well-drained and very fertile area, farmers do not make beds before sowing. Instead, they make the seed holes 2 feet apart and leave 3 feet between the rows. They make the holes by using a long stick with a pointed edge which they poke into the ground to a depth of 2 to 3 centimeters. Even though okra likes heat, its seeds need moisture to germinate and to flourish easily. If you are growing okra on beds, water the beds well before sowing the seeds. You can also let the seeds soak in clean water the day before sowing to help the seed germinate and come up. When we soak the seeds the day before sowing, it makes the shell softer and it sprouts quickly. Otherwise, germination will last a little longer. Some growers prefer to soak them for 3 days before sowing. After 3 days of soaking, the seeds begin to germinate in the water. Those that do not germinate are not good and will not grow. We get rid of them. Those that germinate are good. We sow them and they do well. When sowing, do not put too many seeds in a seed hole. Otherwise, the plants will lack space to grow, will become fragile, and will not bear many good fruits. Now drill the seed holes 2 centimeters deep and plant not more than 2 to 3 seeds per seed hole. Make sure that all seeds are planted at the same depth. For this, Rogatien and Joseph poke a finger into the soil so that it does not go deeper than the first line on the finger. This way, it is easier for them to make the seed holes and they can move faster. The deeper seeds take longer to come up than the shallow ones. Those that come up fast start to nourish themselves faster than others, and they are more robust ones. We see that between 1 and 2 weeks after sowing. Immediately after sowing, cover the seeds with a thin layer of sand. In low-lying areas, farmers lightly scratch the surface of the clay soil to obtain some fine earth to cover the seeds, and many of them do not water the crops. When you sow on beds, water the bed again. After 5 days, you should start to see the seedlings coming up. what have we learned in this video? Okra is grown by direct seeding and it adapts to all types of soils. If you are using seeds of local varieties, they should be of good quality, well dried and stored away from air and moisture. To eliminate a large part of the pest and to increase your yield, remove all roots from the soil and turn it over deeply. Mulch your field to protect the soil from drying out. Soak the seeds in clean water 1 to 3 days before sowing. Make the seed holes 2 centimeters deep. Keep the okra plants at least 40 centimeters apart and make the rows 80 centimeters apart. Put no more than 2 to 3 seeds in each hole, then water. If we follow these principles well, our plants will grow well and give lots of good fruits.